Hello. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Let me know in the comments if you can see me and hear me okay, first and foremost. I always ask that, but welcome, everyone, to today's episode of Tech Talks with a Tech Recruiter. I'm your host, Dean Kulawira. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm just going to quickly make sure I am indeed live and I'm not, in fact, talking to myself. So let me just check here if the notification has gone out. And let me know in the comments, folks, if you can see me and hear me okay. So I'll just give a few seconds for people to start tuning in and getting the notification. But if you're tuning in, let me know in the comments who you are, where you're tuning in from, and shout out to everyone tuning in from Facebook as well as LinkedIn. We got Periscope as well, and we got people from YouTube. So again, thanks so much everyone for tuning in. If it's your first time tuning in, again, my name is Dean Kulawira. So every week on Tuesdays, I invite tech professionals from the tech space, various aspects of tech and IT to talk about their fields, what they do, what's going on in the industry, the day-to-day challenges, and all of that. And we cover topics very relevant to their respective industries. So it's going to be a great show today. My guest, who I'll be bringing on shortly, is Harsha Vachher, and she's going to be speaking about cybersecurity and smart buildings. I'm just not sure if I'm live on LinkedIn. I'm not seeing if any of you from LinkedIn, any of you folks from LinkedIn are seeing me. But without further ado, we will get this thing started in a few seconds. Okay, in any case, let's get this thing started. So again, thanks everyone for tuning in. And again, shout out to everyone on Facebook tuning in, on YouTube, on LinkedIn, as well as on Periscope. So my guest today, who I'll be bringing out shortly, is Harsha Vachher. But before I get there, just a few announcements, folks, for those of you who are tuned in. So I'll be speaking at the career fair that's taking place in August. This is primarily if you're a job seeker in IT and you're actively on the market for new opportunities. I will be a session speaker. I'll be speaking about how to effectively utilize IT recruiters in your job search. It's being organized by the TO Tech Career Fair. So let me just quickly put up the website here as well. So those of you interested can check it out. So feel free to register at the website right now, folks. I believe the registration, the general admission is free, I believe. If not, it's very affordable. I think it's like $5 general admission for everyone who wants to tune in. But again, that's the website, totechcareerfair.com. Be sure to check me out. I'm going to be speaking there. I believe my time slot is 2 p.m. I need to confirm that. But the entire fair is from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Not just myself. There's going to be several other great speakers there. So make sure you check it out, like who the other speakers are as well. And sign up. My former guest on my job search chat, Diana will be on there as well. So make sure you check that out and check out that website. It's a great career fair. And definitely looking forward to seeing all of you participate and attend over there. It's a great session. And if you have any questions about that, feel free to let me know. I'll be happy to give you more information. But without further ado, I'm going to shortly bring on today's guest. So my guest today is Harsha Vachher. And Harsha is a previous guest on the show, and I'm very happy to bring her back. And just some background about Harsha. So for those of you folks tuning in, so Harsha brings in over 15 plus years of hands-on experience in cybersecurity, IoT, driving successful initiatives in operational technology. So cybersecurity and strategic growth for Fortune 500 companies. She's the founder and CEO of K-Tech Labs, a real estate cybersecurity consulting firm supporting building owners and facility teams to defend their building systems from cyber threats. For more information about Harsha, you can check out her company website. That's www.ktechlabs.ca. I'll post the link shortly. And you can also connect with her for more information on LinkedIn as well. So folks, make sure you put your questions in the comments, and definitely let us know what questions you have. Just before I bring out Harsha here, I'm getting a notification about LinkedIn. So let me just quickly fix that. And let's see here. Bear with me, Harsha. I'm just fixing some technical difficulties here with LinkedIn. So let me just quickly fix that. I want to make sure the folks on LinkedIn are able to see the session and all of that. Apologies, folks. I don't know. Sometimes every now and then lately, I'm getting these glitches on LinkedIn, but let's see if we can fix that. Just hang tight, everyone. Hang tight. And okay. So I looked. So I did fix that. So hopefully everything's okay, and those of you folks on LinkedIn can see me. But without further ado, I know Harsha's given us her time, so I'm going to bring Harsha on board. Folks, let us know in the comments you can see and hear us okay. But those of you, I do see that we have some viewers from Facebook and YouTube. So thanks so much for tuning in. So without further ado, Harsha, welcome back to the show. Thanks so much for your time and joining us today.
Hello, Dean. Thank you for having me today.
My pleasure, my pleasure. All right. So Harsha, I mean, and yeah, just check right now. Looks like all is good on LinkedIn, so we should have the viewers tuning in shortly. But Harsha, it's been a while since we spoke, and the last time you were on the show, it was actually not live. I think we did it on Zoom back
Yes.
then. I did not have access to this platform, so appreciate you joining me live. And looks like we do have the viewers tuning in. We got Rajesh in the house, so thanks for tuning in, Rajesh.
Great.
Folks, everyone, give a warm welcome to Harsha. I know some of you on LinkedIn might have missed the intro, so I'm just going to do the intro again, Harsha, if you don't mind, regarding yourself. So for those of you just tuning in, my guest today again is Harsha. So Harsha brings in 15 years plus of experience and hands-on knowledge in cybersecurity, IoT, driving successful initiatives in operational technology, cybersecurity, and strategic growth for Fortune 500 companies. She's the founder and CEO of K-Tech Labs, a real estate cybersecurity consulting firm supporting building owners and facility teams to defend their building systems from cyber threats. So for more information about Harsha, you can check out her company website. It's www.ktechlabs.ca. And she's also very open to connecting on LinkedIn, or if you want to follow her or connect her on LinkedIn, feel free to do so. Make sure you check that out. We have some comments here. I think one of your friends is here. Himani is here. Himani says, hello, Harsha. Harsha is a great friend too. Awesome. Sounds good, Himani. Thanks so much for tuning in. So without further ado, Harsha, I mean, I'm going to get into the questions. And folks, for those of you tuning in, again, we're talking about cybersecurity and smart buildings today. That is Harsha, my guest today. That's her expertise. And put in your questions in the comments, whether that's regarding the day-to-day of a cybersecurity professional in smart buildings, or that kind of a role, or if even if you want some career advice, maybe Harsha can share some of her perspective on that respect as well. So that being said, Harsha, I mean, most of the viewers obviously are in tech, but just for those who might be unfamiliar, if we can start off with some definitions, Harsha, like, can you tell us, like, what is cybersecurity?
Yes. Well, cybersecurity is an ongoing journey. People think it's a process, but it's an ongoing journey.
Right.
And to me, cybersecurity is a change in mindset and behavior. It's like
Mm,
you have to think of security from every aspect of your systems. But if we consider the definition, it's an art of protecting systems, network, and programs from digital attack.
got it. Got it. Okay. Okay. Excellent. And how about smart buildings, Harsha? Like, for those people who might not be familiar with this term, smart buildings, like, is it an intelligent building, or like, what is it?
People hear so many words, like so many jargons are there in the market: smart building, intelligent building,
Yeah. Yeah.
and IoT, and then there are these interchangeable terms. But there is no single set of standards that define a smart building. Everyone has their own definition, but one thing that is common is integration of systems, connected
Okay.
systems. So, in simple terms, smart building is when we connect traditional building systems like lighting, elevators, building automation system, or BAS we commonly call, and that controls the heating and cooling. And then there are physical access to rooms and alarm systems. When we connect all these traditional systems into one system and control the building, that's where we call it's a smart building, because we control the building, the systems are connected, we can use the data, automated process to control the building operations. But the key idea here is to achieve operational efficiency.
Got it, got it. So the key thing here is operational efficiency. Okay, and we're going to be talking about this later on as well, obviously, Harsha. So Harsha, before we get into talking about actual, this space that you're in, can you tell the viewers like how your career path has been in cybersecurity?
Well, my career path has been very diversified. I'm a solution architect by trade. I
Okay.
started my career in telecom sector. Started to
Okay.
work in a for a telecom client, and then eventually I joined Gemalto, SafeNet Infotech, that was previously known as, and there I was part of their ethical hacker team. That's
Oh,
where,
so you're a hacker.
yes,
Okay, okay.
ethical hacker.
Oh yeah, ethical hacker. That's the key word there. Okay, okay.
You would, yes. So that's where I developed my interest in cybersecurity. But that was more into dongles, security keys, and applications. Then eventually I moved into IoT. Back then it was called machine to machine learning,
Mm-hmm.
connected systems, connected devices. And I was working as a developer, designing these devices, coding, and also taking care of the security aspect of these devices, right from chipset to communication technologies.
Right.
And then I moved into solution architect side, because I was more inclined on the technical rather than being a project manager, though I'm a PMP, but I was more inclined and interested towards the technical side of it. And that's
Mm-hmm.
where I moved my career as a solution architect, where I was more into designing the use cases and designing the IoT devices. I worked in different verticals: retail, smart buildings, smart cities, wearable devices, and then started to work with Tata Communications for their IoT business in India.
Right.
When I moved to Canada, I started to work specifically for smart buildings.
Okay.
Yes, and also taking care of the security aspect of the smart building. And then last year in November, I founded KTech Labs.
Nice. Awesome, awesome, fantastic. So Harsha, out of curiosity, like what appealed to you about smart buildings? Like, was this like a conscious decision? Was it you kind of gradually got into it, or like what interests you and excites you about this space?
Well, I gradually got into it because when I started to work in IoT space, like I said, I was working in different domains, not in one particular domain.
Hmm.
So basically, bringing up devices that can help getting the data and insights of individual domains. When I moved to Canada, I specifically started to work in smart building, and that's where I found that this area is not that much developed in terms of technology as other areas. See the automotive sector,
Hmm.
see the aerospace, retail, wearable devices. We have Fitbit, we have Apple Watches, we have so many wearable devices that are used in medical and healthcare. But smart building and smart city space are still under development. And I was really amazed by the way how by putting a simple device in a building, you can
Yeah.
get so much data. And
Hmm.
then there is security. And then I saw there's a misconception in real estate community that if we don't adopt technology, we are safe. But that's not the case. Threat is
I
still there.
see.
Yeah. So the learning and the continuous evolution of the sector, that's where I was more inclined was yes, now I have to work specifically for smart building and smart city space.
Okay, okay, got it, got it. I understand. So from what you're saying, Harsha, this particular space, like the smart buildings and all of that, they're kind of behind compared to other sectors and industries.
Yes.
Now, now, that's pretty interesting. So, would you say it's because, and you mentioned something very interesting. So, the attitude of the people in real estate is, oh, if we don't adapt technology, then we're safe, we're okay. Can you speak more about that? Like, is that like the general consensus in the real estate industry? Like, they don't want to adapt technology, or they have technology and they just haven't thought about, securing, those various aspects.
Well, they haven't thought because real estate industry works in a very different way. It's more about the life cycle of the system. Once the
Hmm.
system is there, like if you think of HVAC, if you think of elevators, Once the system is in the building, it stays there for a long time, like 15, 20 years, 25 years we have seen. That's not the case with other industry. They keep
Right.
on changing. The life cycle is very short, whereas the life cycle in real estate is very, very long. The second aspect is these are traditional systems designed specifically for a purpose.
Hmm.
And back those days, security was always like on a back seat.
Right.
So
Right.
traditional systems they lack security, and still they use computers. The application run on a system, but they think that if we don't connect the system to internet, if the system is not connected, we are safe. But that's not the case. We know there's a term called insider threat, disgruntled employee, or
Oh, okay.
lack of best practice. All these can also lead to a hack.
Okay, okay, very interesting, very interesting. So, going from there, Harsha, like what can hackers and cyber criminals achieve by, and not to oversimplify things, but hacking into smart buildings or even this internal threat you spoke about? Like, what do they get out of it, and what's that threat?
Well, that's interesting because smart homes and smart buildings are the new battlefield for hackers and security experts. People think that what they'll gain by hacking a smart building. We
Yeah,
have
yeah.
like usage data. We don't have personal information. So what a hacker will gain by hacking our system, but that's not the case. So few things like most important financial gain.
Hmm.
So we are hearing so many cases of data breach. Like recently, CRA website got hacked, and so much personal information and accounts got hacked. So financial gain is one of the prime factors. So hackers look for a path to corporate network via buildings.
Right, right.
So if they gain access to building automation system or to elevator system, they try to find a path that can lead to corporate IT system. And from there, they can easily get into the financial systems and gain access to corporate data and financial data.
Okay, okay,
The
okay.
the second is if an attacker monitor activity within the building through sensors or cameras, they can send snapshots and information about the activity.
Hmm.
But different channels like Slack or other communication channels. And in some of these cases, the personal identifiable information, and we call it PII, and geolocation of the building can also be shared. All this can help the attacker to plan further activities in a building. They'll get to know who goes out, who's in the building, and they can plan the activity specifically. The third thing that we commonly see is to provide unauthorized access. Like we have
Hmm.
seen so much of security in a building. Like it's not easy to get into a building. You need authorized access to get into a building. But if they attack a building, then attackers can have an access to information like how the air conditioning is working, and they can make a phone call pretending to be from a maintenance company and say that they are going to send a technician because they notice the fans are running at a maximum capacity.
Ah.
So they by this they can gain unauthorized access to the building. And most important, disrupt building operations and cause brand damage. And we have seen this in past. Like for example, a hacker could gain access to HVAC control to compromise the stable environment within a data center. And
Hmm.
we all know data centers are prone to temperature. So
Yeah.
if the temperature is not adequate, then it can lead to wiping your data or wiping your data in a research lab.
Wow.
And there are endless scenarios.
Wow, that's wow, that's that's crazy, right? I mean, there's so many, from what you're saying, there's many different reasons why, and there's so many different angles they can use
Yeah.
to access very sensitive information, and also even hold the organization hostage if they do that data
Yes.
center thing, right? Okay, okay, got it, got it. Now, in terms of building operations, like firstly, like what's meant by building operations, like if you can kind of define that first.
So building operations like maintaining. So there's a separate operations team that run the building.
Okay.
So if we take the building staff, apart from tenants and landlords, there's a facility team that runs the building and make sure the building operations are smooth. Lights are up and running, elevators are up and running, temperature is fine. So there's a building. team that comprises of your property manager, operations supervisor, and the entire team of technicians and network engineers that make sure HVAC building automation system is running, elevators are up and running, access control is working fine, fire alarm system is working fine. So all this and the network, the Wi-Fi or the 5G network in the building is running fine.
Okay, got it. So, I mean, this in general, Harsha, this building operations team, obviously, from what you explained so far, there's clearly reason for them to consider these cybersecurity threats. What are some tips and advice you can give for these teams in I guess preparing for or handling these situations?
Well, there are a number of, so before that, um, these days we have seen emerging risk and we call it SIGIWARE.
Sigeware?
Yes. It's SIEGEWARE, SIGIWARE, and that's the term
Okay,
we use when a software that controls the building operations get hacked.
right.
So imagine you are a person in charge of a property operations, and you get a text or you see on screen that we have hacked all your control systems and pay X amount of Bitcoin within 24 hours.
Wow.
And this has happened. This is not that I'm making up the story. This has happened in past many
Really?
times. Yes,
Wow.
and I myself have experienced this. So, in order to avoid these kind of situations or make sure these systems are running fine, there are a number of tips or like small practice that can be really helpful to make the system secure. Like ensure there are best practices. You change your password regularly. Do not share your password. Make sure the vendor who is accessing the system is accessing via a secure network, and then make sure the system is up to date, because this is one of the thing, like I said, the software life cycle and the hardware life cycle in real estate is 10 to 15 to 20 years. So
Mhm.
once they put the system, they don't update. And we have seen like more than 70% cases, the system is not updated. They still run old software version and old operating system that have these vulnerabilities that hackers can compromise.
Right,
So
right.
make sure the systems are patched, updated so that they contain the latest security patches, making the system more secure. So these are small practices that are really helpful, and facility team can easily practice these.
Okay, gotcha. Now, Harsha, in your role as as an expert in this space, I mean, typically when you're brought into, one of these like to these buildings, are you usually brought in like before a threat happens, or while a threat is happening, or like what's usually the scenario?
It really depends. Nowadays we have seen an increase in awareness that people are really concerned about security.
Mm,
But we come in at different stages. So even before the attack happens, people want to know whether their building is safe, there is no risk. So if they involve us at an early stage, then we help identifying the risk and vulnerabilities that exist in the system. We do a risk assessment, come up with a report, and help them mitigate the risk. Second is we are typically called when some incident happen, like they see some weird activities in the network is slow, or they see some message on the screen, or they see the system is encrypted. That's where some incident has happened. So they
right.
call us, and we do the incident response management, where we help restore the system, and we also investigate the root cause that led to the incident to make sure it doesn't happen again. We are also, and like cybersecurity is not only a technological fix, it's
Mm,
more about awareness. So we also provide trainings where we work with building owners and property and facility team to educate the staff to understand what are the risks, because if they don't know the risk, how will they identify and report one?
okay, amazing. And also out of curiosity, Harsha, and because I have so many questions for you actually, but like in terms of these hackers, right? These criminal groups or organizations, is it very difficult to catch them?
Well, it really depends. Not very difficult, but depending on, so in smart building case, it's not only we don't see only the organized crime, like the hacker, professional hacker groups. Sometimes it is a college student or a student or a person just out of curiosity, just hack a system.
Oh,
So
wow.
yes, and on the same line, I'll share one incident. It happened last
Sure.
year. So in a building in US, so one of my property manager friends shared this with me. So facility team, they bought a printer, like a $100 printer,
Yeah.
and they installed the printer and connected it with the free Wi-Fi.
Oh, okay.
So someone got into the free Wi-Fi and started printing a bomb threat.
Whoa, wow.
It could be real, so they had to
Yeah.
evacuate the whole building. And building evacuation is not a small thing. All this attracted media attention. They were all over in news, and they had to. They went. There was a financial implication plus a legal implication because their tenants threatened to sue them for the business loss of one day.
Mm. Yeah.
It's not only the organized crime we see. There are different people around the world just for fun. They do hacking.
Yeah, wow, such a great example. My God, that's crazy. Okay, okay. I mean, any other interesting stories you can share, Harsha, like regarding the previous cases you have been involved in?
Yes, I have tons of stories to share,
Yeah,
but I'll share one that happened recently without diving into details like when and where it happened.
yeah.
So, one morning I got a call from a property manager of a commercial building here in downtown Toronto
Uh-huh.
that they are seeing a message on a computer that runs the building automation system. That is the system that controls heating and ventilation and cooling. So the property manager shared a snapshot, and I got to know immediately that it's a ransomware attack.
Oh, okay.
So just to share what is a ransomware, it's kind of a virus that takes control of the system and basically encrypts the files of your system. So you cannot do any kind of activity on that system. So, and there are different ransomware. So, on seeing the snapshot, I got to know that it's a Phobos ransomware attack, and which was very common in early to 2019.
Hmm.
And the way it transmits is via a remote desktop connection. So, because I knew the building automation system, because I was working closely with the facility team in the past, I got to know that the building automation system was being remotely accessed by a vendor to provide after-hour service. And the way they were using was they were using a free version of TeamViewer. It's a tool used for remote connections. So
Hmm.
no security feature enabled. So I immediately got to know what happened because they were using the unsecure way to remotely access the system that led to the attack. So first, some bad news. The
Hmm.
hackers did disrupt the normal use of the building by tenant. The building was on manual operation for 15 days. The operation team was running in all directions to support tenant calls on temperature and had to bear a financial loss.
Yeah.
And then some good news. The latest backup of building automation system was present.
Mm.
And the incident response plan was also there, which says that what to do in case of such incident. So the incident response team was brought into action, and as the first step, we isolated the system to stop the spread of the attack, and then we immediately used the backup to restore the system. And then we did the post incident analysis as part of the security measure, and then installed a secure remote access solution so that vendors can access the building automation system in a more secure way.
Wow, fantastic. Amazing, amazing story. Yeah, thanks so much for sharing that. And folks, let us know in the comments if you have any questions for Harsha. I do see a question here. I'll be getting around to the questions shortly. Now, Harsha, like with this whole advent of COVID, right? This pandemic thing going on, has that significantly affect? Like, have you personally seen an increase in the threats that these buildings receive? I know that you had mentioned that you're seeing an increase in interest from smart buildings. Can you share with us some trends, from that standpoint?
Yes, we have seen an increase in threats, and it's very sad to say, like hackers are using this COVID-19 situation to the maximum advantage. We have seen an
Yeah.
increase in phishing attack. We have seen an increase in remote desktop attacks. Yeah, you must have heard that every now and then we get these emails. You have in this voucher, click this link. We are sending a free COVID-19
Yeah.
kit. Click this link, and then asking for personal information in the name of like tracking people activity. So we have seen a significant increase in phishing attack. So and then there's a threat to building people, also the facility team, because if they receive such email which ask for a password of a building system or to share their details, and if they click on the link, that can lead to a ransomware attack, or that can lead to a system compromise if they share any personal information or any system related information. Plus,
Right.
buildings have, because people were working remote, so buildings have installed cameras,
Hmm.
and cameras are very vulnerable to attack
Really? Wow.
because of, yeah, because of lack of security that is there in the camera system. Plus, there has been an increase in sensors. Like people want to know how well the space is being utilized, and they are in a hurry to put different sensors that monitor air quality without even understanding the threat. If the sensor is secure or the way it is deployed is secure. So
Mm.
all these are increasing the threat.
Okay, gotcha. And I mean it, and yeah, just like you said, Harsha. I mean, this COVID situation, a lot of these hackers and all these people are taking full advantage of the situation, not just from individuals, but clearly from companies, organizations, buildings, everything, right? So definitely, and I appreciate you sharing that. Now I do see some shout outs here. Munir says hi everyone. So hi Munir, thanks for tuning in. We have Mina who says hi to all. Thanks for tuning in, Mina. Appreciate you tuning in. I do see some questions here. We're going to get to the questions shortly. Now, Harsha, I mean, from your end regarding your business and the services you offer, how are you able to help buildings through your company and your services? And can you tell the viewers more about your company?
KTech Labs. So we are a real estate cybersecurity company that protects building systems from cyber threat, both inside and outside threat. So 360 Prop Secure, that is our in-house assessment framework, where we perform on-site cybersecurity assessment of building systems, IoT devices, and we assess the risk and exposure. We generate a risk scorecard, and then we develop a 12-month implementation and management plan, and we work closely with the facility team and vendors to secure the building systems at every level.
Mhm. Awesome, fantastic. And Harsha, they can find more information at your website. Is it www.ktechlabs.com?
It's yeah, ktechlabs.ca.
.ca.
Yes, so we have listed all our services, what we provide. So yeah, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'm super active on LinkedIn.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. And I highly recommend you follow Harsha if you have an interest in cybersecurity and especially in relation to smart buildings. Harsha is very prolific. She's always putting on content and she's interviewing other experts in the space. Very much involved in it, right? So make sure you follow Harsha. Clearly, Harsha is open to new connections as well. So definitely feel free to connect with her directly. So I'm going to get around to the questions now. And folks, make sure you put all your questions in relation to cybersecurity and smart buildings or building operations in the comments. And we're going to get Harsha to respond to your questions. Just a quick shout out. Lade says, hi, everyone. So thanks for tuning in, Lade. Appreciate you tuning in. Now this is not really a smart buildings question, Harsha, but someone asked, is the Google Nest ecosystem secure for homes? Do you have any thoughts on that?
So well, it really depends how the system is deployed. Like I said, it's not only the system but the way it is deployed. So the Google Nest system, if it is connected with your Wi-Fi and your Wi-Fi lacks the security feature, then I would say the system is unsecure, because someone can get into the Wi-Fi and can easily hack the system. So it really depends not only the product that you put in your home, but also the way you deploy. And then simple things. Have you changed the default manufacturer password that comes with the system?
Mhm.
If yes, then okay. If not, then that makes the system vulnerable, because these default passwords, if you Google, they are all over internet.
Got it. Got it. Okay, great advice there. Hope that helps to the person who asked that question. Now we have a question from Himani. So Himani says, "Is there a way building automation systems could provide us with or trace carbon emissions and our carbon footprint for the becoming more climate resilient and undertake climate risk and vulnerability assessments?" I'm not sure
Yes.
if that's your space,
Yes,
Harsha,
that's
but
more of a sustainability question, because I don't deal into the data that comes from these systems. I basically deal into protecting the system, and this is more of a sustainability question. But because I closely work with sustainability team as well to make sure their systems are secure. So, they use the data in combination with data coming from other systems like metering also, to understand the carbon footprint, but I'm not sure whether it's totally coming from building automation system or not.
okay, got it. All right, no worries, Harsha. But thanks anyway for responding. And Himani, thanks for your question. Now in terms of as we start to wrap this up, Harsha, I mean, in terms of your advice for those interested in cybersecurity, and not just cybersecurity, but in your space specifically, smart buildings, building operations. What's your career? Any career advice, or for those considering your field?
Yes, so you can change, first of all, you can change career at any point of time.
Mhm.
So be open to that. Like, I've seen people are very hesitant when it comes to changing career. So if you are interested in a field, just go for it. So look, so there are so many courses up there. Back then, not many universities were providing courses on cybersecurity, but here in Canada,
Mhm.
I have seen many universities, they provide courses on cybersecurity. Apart from that, there are also different private institutions that provide cybersecurity coaching and classes. So if you're
Okay.
interested in cybersecurity, first of all, understand in which area you want to go. Risk analysis, data privacy, first choose the field you are interested and go and look for courses. And don't hesitate to reach out people on LinkedIn. People are there to help you. Just find a mentor, reach out and get help.
Fantastic advice, Harsha. And there's huge demand for cybersecurity professionals.
Yes,
Yeah,
there is.
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, and other than that, Harsha, any closing thoughts? Any final thoughts in regards to your space, or any motivational advice for people who want to get into the field, or they're trying to make the move into cybersecurity, or just any other closing thoughts you have for the viewers?
I would say, like, people have started to use internet, and we see so many internet glitches, because not only people, kids are also uh, online all the time, browsing websites, playing
Yeah.
games, and even we also. So I would say, think before you click any link. It's not
Mhm.
you get an email and just click on any link. Think before clicking on any link, and when your kids are online, just make sure you monitor all the activities online.
Okay, great. Yeah, great advice. I mean, especially if it's something that seems too good to be true, probably is too good to be true,
Yes.
right? And don't get tempted to. We do have a question here, Harsha, if you don't mind. We have someone is asking, what is the best school for cybersecurity for hands-on skills in particular? Any thoughts on that?
I don't advocate for any particular university, to be honest. First, decide what kind of course you want to go for, and then there are universities. Just to name a few, Ryerson University has started a cybersecurity course. University of Toronto has a cybersecurity course. York University has a cybersecurity course. So there are different universities. Which one is best? I don't want to name one, but there
Yeah.
are a couple.
I mean, folks, you have to do your research, your due diligence, right? And if you can, just like Harsha is saying, identify these various schools she suggested, and see if you can speak with some alumni, right? People who have gone there, who have taken the program, and you can get the feedback from them as well.
Yes, Wills College is one of them. So it not only depends on which best school, it really depends on what kind of course you're looking for.
Yeah, exactly. I
William
agree.
College has a lot of courses on cybersecurity, and they have an innovation lab as well. So really decide which course and then look for a course.
And cybersecurity is so huge, right? I mean, it's so
Yes.
vast, right? So yeah, for the person who asked this comment, definitely, go by Harsha's advice and, do your research, get clear on what you want to do and which aspect of cybersecurity you want to get involved in. And then based on that, that depends on which course you should take and all of that. So thanks for that advice, Harsha. Great advice. So looks like there's no more questions. So Harsha, thank you so much for your time. And for the viewers, thanks so much for tuning in. I hope everyone got some great information. Definitely make sure you follow and connect with Harsha. She puts a lot of great content. I always follow. And it's always great to learn more about this very exciting space that you're in, Harsha. So appreciate all your involvement on LinkedIn, and feel free to connect with Harsha as well. Harsha, are any upcoming events or any upcoming people you're interviewing for your show?
There are two upcoming events. One is BombX. So this time it's a virtual, like other events. So it's a virtual event that's coming up in October, and then there is a building show by Informa that's coming up in. Dates are not yet finalized, but somewhere in end of November or early December.
Okay, gotcha.
They are specific to real estate industry, and we'll have sessions on technologies that are there in real estate, upcoming trends, and cybersecurity.
Okay, fantastic. We have some shout outs. So we have some people saying thank you to you, Harsha. So Shunad says thank you. Thanks, Shunad. We have this individual said thank you. So appreciate that. So thanks everyone for tuning in. Harsha, again, thanks so much for your time. Appreciate it. And definitely, look forward to having you back in the future to talk about cybersecurity again.
Thank you, Dean.
All right. Thanks, Harsha. Bye, everyone. Have a good day.